On today's episode, we're gonna get into the new American whiskey by BEYONCÉ Knowles-Carter. We're gonna read all about it. I got by the name of, let's go.
Play the intro. I go by the name of Lord.
Let's review some whiskey. Welcome back. Today we are talking about the new American whiskey releasing soon by BEYONCÉ Knowles-Carter. Now folks, I randomly got an email this morning and it was a pre-sale. And I always get emails from, pre-sales for different spirits and things like that. But I saw BEYONCÉ. I was like BEYONCÉ? Or BEYONCÉ? And the email was like, BEYONCÉ. And I was like, ooh. And what kind of drew me in automatically to this bottle was actually the packaging. I think the packaging is super dope. It's thoughtful, very classy, and very minimal at the same time, which I apparently like. And then I was thinking, I was like, I never heard anything about BEYONCÉ, anything with whiskey at all. So I got to do some research, and I found out, obviously, this whiskey, Sir Davis, was an honor and I guess homage to her great grandfather, who was a farmer and a bootlegger, which she thought was pretty cool because apparently BEYONCÉ is into whiskey, Japanese whiskey in general. So yeah. So this one in particular is an American whiskey. Now at first, I just assumed that since it was a whiskey and she was from Texas, that it was just gonna be a bourbon. But me nerding out how I nerd, I googled the mash bill. All right, so I was able to find out about the mash bill. The mash bill is basically 51% rye, 49% malted barley. Do your homework and your research. You can already know where that could have been distilled at. Just saying, could have been distilled somewhere else, but there's a popular mash bill that's utilized by a certain distillery somewhere. Anyway, and then everything gets bottled at 44% ABV, so that's about 88 proof. And they basically finish it off in American oak barrels and Pedro Jimenez sherry casks. I'm pretty interested in this in general because with this being a rye as her first release rather than going for a bourbon, I know it's gonna have some, some spicy notes and some different vibes to it. However, with this being a rye finished in Pedro Jimenez sherry cask, I'm super curious to see how that finishing process basically helps out with this in general. I personally don't purchase celebrity whiskeys, but this one in particular, I would be curious to get and do a part 2 of the review. Now, the story says, according to the press release, the Sir Davis whiskey by BEYONCÉ pays tribute to her paternal grandfather, Davis Hugh, a farmer and moonshiner during Prohibition in the American South. Despite alcohol ban, Hugh would secretly stash bottles of whiskey for his friends to discover and enjoy. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and put the bottle up. The bottle looks crazy. Like, it looks like it has some weight to it. The cork in general kind of reminds me of, it could be like a glass version of how like the Frey Ranch cork is, like it has like some type of weight to it. But the cool thing I would say, the way the bottle is, this would be cool for a decanter once it's done, or if you're a collector in general. Now with that said, with the 88 proof, I feel that this would drink a little lower and be more acceptable to a lot of people with palates that aren't used to high proof. So I applaud them at doing an 88 proof. On top of that, I am curious to see the effects that aging that in that extra Pedro Jimenez sherry cask would do for this whiskey in general. If you care, I'll go ahead and read the long version now. This is a real short review today, so I'm drinking San Pellegrino, pomegranate, and orange juice. Keeping it simple today. Shot a lot of content this week. This is not an advertisement at all, but if you haven't by now, you got to get this. This is so good right here. This is so good right here. I've even made a cocktail with this before. So good. Moving right along. So the press release, which came out today, says BEYONCÉ Knowles-Carter has joined forces with Moet Hennessy, a subsidiary of MH to create Sir Davis, a groundbreaking new whiskey, the first of its kind. Joint venture reflects a shared vision between Knowles-Carter and Moet Hennessy, two vanguards of cultural and crafts around the future of American whiskey. Then they go on to say, this unique product was years in the making after Knowles-Carter, a Japanese whiskey enthusiast, sought out Moet Hennessy to help create a one-of-a-kind flavor profile that reflects her whiskey ideal. Meanwhile, Moet Hennessy has been exploring ways to deepen its presence in the American whiskey market, making this time kismet for a partnership between the world-leading luxury group and Knowles-Carter. Now, it gets more wordy right here. It says, I've always been drawn to the power and confidence I feel when drinking quality whiskey and wanted to invite more people to experience that feeling, says Sir Davis founder BEYONCÉ Knowles-Carter. When I discovered that my great-grandfather had been a moonshine man, it felt like my love for whiskey was faded. Sir Davis is a way for me to pay homage to him. He united us in a new shared legacy, and partnering with Moet Hennessy, we have created a delicious American whiskey that respects tradition but also empowers people to experience welcoming new and unique in the category. You can taste it better than I can ever tell you. Welcome, Sir Davis. Now, so we read that part already. This goes to say Moet Hennessy tapped Dr. Bill Lumsden, and he's basically one of the world's most awarded and highly regarded master distillers for his work on Scotch whiskey brands as Glenmorangie and Ardbeg to lead on whiskey creation. Now, I do have a bottle of Glenmorangie. I should probably try more. I thought like the basic entry-level Glenmorangie like early in my journey. I did not really necessarily care for it, but I do love Ardbeg. Now I know, reading the mash bill for this, we know this is not like Ardbeg. It's not an Isla Scotch, but I'm curious to see on his influence coming from the Scotch world, how his take is working on American whiskey. So that's what I'm really interested in. And then yeah, it just has a bunch of stuff on here. Like it's just too much to read. If you want to read it, you can read it. They go on to talk about the glass, and then they go on to talk about everything else. But the most important part is that they are taking pre-orders now. Do your research and where to get it from. You can get it from a lot of stores online. You can probably get it from their website too. But basically, when it comes out, it's gonna be available throughout the whole U.S. Select retails, also airports. In duty-free, be available and in stores in London, Paris, and Tokyo, September 24. So yeah, I am curious, with this being at 51 rye and 49% malted barley, I am curious to see how the effect of them taking it out the barrel that it was aged in and then placing it into the Pedro Jimenez sherry cask. I'm very interested. Just on packaging alone, I would get it. I am curious though to see if this bottle sells out. Let's say when it sells out, is it because people who are into whiskey are seeking this out, or is it that fans are actually going out their way to purchase this bottle because they're Beyonce fans? Now, I would say the cool thing about it, that if we do get a surge of Beyonce fans buying out the whiskey, I think it's good for the brand in general, for like, let's say the American whiskey category, because what it does now, let's say if we look at Beyonce fans, it's 100% like a pie. Let's say maybe out of 100, maybe 50% are whiskey, people who drink whiskey in general. Maybe this is a chance to convert other people and put them onto the category, and this could be a gateway whiskey for them to try other things, because there's other obviously finished whiskeys on the market that, let's say if you bought this bottle, which MSRP price for this isn't bad, that you might want to get into other whiskeys and things like that. Just curious. I personally never, I don't have any celebrity whiskeys when I think about it. I only had celebrity whiskeys that have done partnerships with the distillery, like Nick Offerman with Lagavulin, Matthew McConaughey with Wild Turkey, and I think there are some other ones deep here somewhere. Yeah, so in general, I think this would be really good. It is dedication to her great-grandfather. There's a great marketing story here. The fact that he was a farmer and a moonshiner. I'm curious. I'm also curious if this is only the beginning. Like, will there be a line extension with this being 88 proof and a Pedro Jimenez cask? Or are they gonna do, let's say, another release where it's finished in another cask, or maybe another offering where it's proofed up? Or would they get crafty and start doing like single barrel expressions and having them, you know, I don't think she could sell them at the concerts, but it'd be kind of curious to see what they do, like a single barrel one-offs or some kind of exclusive thing. I can honestly, with this being Beyonce, see them making like an LTD product of this and going hard with the packaging, like wooden case and all, and like it's a pretty premium for what they charge, but it could be like limited, like a 200 bottle run, which is basically like a single barrel. So I'm curious to see if that is the progression in this line in general. So super interested. Love to try it. Would have loved the BDS sample, but here we are. But like I said, I will go on my way, find this bottle, come back and give you an honest review on this channel. Let me know a few things in the comments. 1, if this is one that you're actually seeking. 2, if you ever had celebrity whiskeys before. And 3, if you ever anything finished in a Patron Jimenez cast. So yeah, so I will be back for a part 2 once I secure this bottle, and we will review it. We will go deep in it like we normally do with everything. So yeah, so if you like this, go ahead, drop me a good old like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah. And like I always say at this time, folks, cheers, salute, sante, Kobe, and all that jazz.